Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you could join me here today. My name is Heidi Roth. I'm a registered dietitian, and today we are going to be making two summertime desserts. One is a clafoutis, and we're going to be actually making a plum clafoutis today. And the other one is some frozen yogurt bark. So also a nice, cool summertime treat. All right, so why is clafoutis a summertime dessert? It's actually something that we're going to bake. Well, you might be asking, what is clafoutis even to begin with? Well, it's a French dessert. It's a little bit between a cake and a custard, kind of a cakey custard. And it typically has summertime fruits in it. So the French would typically use something like cherries or any other type of stone fruit. So peaches, apricots, nectarines, plums. Today, I'm actually going to use a new type of fruit called a pluot. And it's the mix between a plum and an apricot. They happen to look really good at the store yesterday, so I picked them up and we're going to be using them because I love apricots and plums, and now we have pluots. So that's what we'll be doing today instead of the cherries. So the first thing, and you'll see how quick and easy this recipe is. It comes together in no time, and it's really kind of a nice little fancy recipe. First thing we'll do is I have a 1/4 cup of butter that I'm going to throw into the oven. While your oven is preheating, we're going to preheat the oven to 425 degrees. We're just going to put this in while we make the rest of it. And then this will be melted by the time it comes out. So it just saves a pan and having to melt the butter in the microwave in one less step. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. My oven seems to have locked itself. I'm not sure why, so I'm actually going to throw it into the microwave instead. Okay, well, that's fun. My oven has never done that. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So hopefully that can be edited out for the final version. But that's the fun of attending live, is that sometimes these things happen. So we're going to go to plan B. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting my butter in the microwave under defrost. And whenever you're melting butter in the microwave, just use the defrost setting, because you do run the risk of it like exploding all of your microwave, and that's never a lot of fun. So while that's doing that, let's go ahead and make the rest of it. So I'm gonna use my pluot, and I'm just gonna slice them into slices. If you're using cherries, the French actually put the whole cherry in, pits and everything. As Americans, we probably usually don't do that. So just, you can even use frozen cherries, are probably the easiest way to do it. And typically they'll be pitted already. So I've got my plums or pluots all sliced up. And I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of sugar. And then mix it with the fruit. So we're just gonna mix that up and set that aside. And so what we're looking for is about 1.5 pounds of fruit. So when you're at the store and you're measuring out your plums, you're looking for about 1.5 pounds. And you can use certainly more or less. That's a great thing about these recipes, is that they're very easily adaptable. And the other thing that I did to get my 9 by 13 pan in the microwave is if you have a turntable, take it out and just put a bowl over the thing that turns. And that will also, then you can put the whole 9x13 pan in your microwave. Also just another little tip. Our butter is perfectly melted and I got it just in time before it exploded. So win-win all around. So just kind of swirl the butter around so that it's on the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to make our filling. So the filling has 4 eggs in it. And, you know, unfortunately, this is really kind of a custard-like dessert. So if you're, you know, 100% plant-based, this probably wouldn't be the dessert for you. There's not a lot of substitutions that you can do for the eggs. They're kind of an integral part of the recipe. Now you can, of course, substitute a plant-based milk. You could use coconut oil instead of the butter, but not a lot of substitutions for the eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and crack 4 eggs into my blender. Another kitchen hack is to put your garbage next to you, and then it's very easy to kind of just get rid of. So let's go ahead and put our 4 eggs in. Now, eggs, of course, are going to make this dessert a little bit healthier because the eggs are going to contain a source of protein. And eggs are an excellent source of a lot of different vitamins and different nutrients. Okay, so we got our 4 eggs, and of course, then it also helps provide a little bit of protein for the dessert too. 4 eggs, and to that we are going to add 1 cup of milk. I have just the regular dairy milk, but if you were dairy-free, you could certainly use a plant-based milk as well. That would be, you know, perfectly fine substitution. And then a 1/2 cup of flour. If you're gluten-free, you could use obviously gluten-free flour. But another way to kind of increase the protein and maybe decrease the carbohydrates a little bit is you can use part nut flour too. So you could, if you wanted to, substitute like 1/2 cup of almond flour instead, or you can do 1/2 and 1/2 and do like a 1/4 cup almond flour, a 1/4 cup of regular flour, whole wheat flour, you know, so on and so forth. Or, you know, maybe you just, this is considered a dessert, so maybe you just use the regular, you know, white flour as well. Lots of different things that you could do. I'm just going to make it the regular way. I typically do tend to substitute a lot of almond flour, and I'm, you know, out of it today, so we're just going to use the recipe as written. And then 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. Don't forget the salt. Salt provides a lot of flavor, and it makes it's going to make the fruit taste a little sweeter and blend everything together. It's going to taste very bland if you don't put any salt in. So 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. And then 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. I love, love, love almond extract. I just got a whole new bottle of it yesterday because I use it so much, but I like to add it into smoothies, pancake mix, and I love the taste of it. But a little bit goes a long way, so just be careful that you don't mix up the almond and the vanilla extract. You only want 1/2 teaspoon. If you put in 2 teaspoons, it's going to be way, way, way too almondy. And then we're also going to add in a little bit of vanilla extract as well. So this, we're going to use 2 teaspoons of it. Go ahead and do that. 1, 2. Okay, and don't forget, if you have any questions while we're talking, please feel free to use the chat box. Ask your questions, and it's nice to have that conversation too. And that's one of the benefits of joining live, is that, you know, you can ask questions about cooking. It could be a nutrition question, completely unrelated to cooking as well, but feel free to do that. All right, so lastly, I've got my salt, my 2 extracts, 4 eggs, 1/2 cup of flour, 1 cup of milk. I'm also going to add in the rest of the sugar, so that's another 1/4 cup of sugar right here. There we go. blend that. All right, so just going to go ahead and blend this, and you know, if you don't want to dirty a blender, just you could use a whisk too, but it's just really easy using the blender. And that's it. You don't want to blend it, you know, for minutes. You just want to kind of get the eggs all blended and everything blended together. You don't want to necessarily develop the gluten in the flour. So, you know, don't put on your blender and then walk away for a couple minutes. Just a super fast blend is all it needs. All right. So thank you, Tara. You'll see that Tara has put the recipes into the chat box. So feel free to take a look at them, download them. Let us know if you're not able to do that. And I can, you know, also show you the recipe, and maybe you can take a screenshot from the video of it. Would be another way to do it too. But let us know if you can do that. All right, so now going back, I take our 9 by 13 pan, and you can do this two ways. You can sprinkle the fruit on top, which maybe is a more kind of traditional way of doing it. But I like this to be a quick, easy, fast recipe. And I find that just I can get the fruit spread out much more easily if I put it in first and then pour everything else on top. Now, if you want a really pretty design, then, you know, arrange the fruit nicely on top. But some of the fruit's going to fall anyways. So this is just kind of the way I do it, to make it quick and easy. And that way I get everything all perfectly distributed. Look at the color of these. Isn't that gorgeous? It's such a beautiful, vibrant color. They look actually like cooked beets a little bit. And then we're going to pour this on top. Now, if you have fruit that's not all that ripe, you may want to add a little bit of extra sugar to it to make it more desserty, because sometimes the fruit, you know, can be a little sour if it's not very ripe. But try, if possible, try to get it as ripe as you can. And then, you know, there's still a little sugar left here on the bottom that I'm just going to take my spatula and get out. I see we have a question. Okay, somebody said, can you please post the recipe again? I don't know, Tara, do you mind posting that again? Maybe somebody joined afterwards. Okay, thank you, Tara. All right, and if everybody can't see that, then I'll at the end, I'll hold up the recipe and you can take a screenshot of it. Okay, so we'll try our oven again, fingers crossed. And this goes into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Right, well, let's pretend that was in the oven now for about 15 to 20 minutes. And when it comes out, it's going to be puffed and beautiful. And we'll pretend like it's cooked. But in the meantime, I guess I may as well turn my oven off because it doesn't seem to want to do anything. All right, we'll go to our bark now. Has anyone ever made frozen yogurt bark before? It's kind of a fun thing to make. It's a nice little cool summer snack that's really healthy, and I will show you how to make it. So we're going to start first with some yogurt. Now, you can use whatever type of yogurt you like. I'm actually going to go for the lower sugar yogurt, so I'm just going to use a plain Greek yogurt. This is one of the ones I like. It's organic, 100% grass-fed Greek yogurt. I buy it on sale when it goes on sale at Market Basket because it can be, you know, definitely one of the more expensive yogurts, but I really, you know, like this one. So I'm going to use that. And, you can use as much or as little as you want. We're looking for about 2 cups or so of yogurt that you're going to smooth onto some wax paper or some parchment paper, because it's really hard to get out of the pan unless you do that. So we're just going to go ahead and smooth that around the edges. And if you want this to be a little bit more dessert-like, then a vanilla would be a really nice one. A coconut Greek yogurt would be lovely. And it doesn't necessarily even need to be Greek yogurt, but you want to get a full fat yogurt. It makes, this is considered a little bit of a treat and a dessert. So the full fat is going to make, I think, makes for a nicer, creamier type of frozen dessert. Let's see, I'll use my other spatula here. Okay, somebody's asked, could you use almond milk yogurt? That's a great question. I don't see why you couldn't. It's, the same consistency as regular yogurt, and it's also going to freeze. And that's the thing, is we're going to freeze this. So what the almond milk yogurt would certainly freeze very well also. And you want to eat it frozen. This isn't something that, pack in your kids' lunch, because it's just going to be plain melted yogurt. So it's meant to be eaten right away, and almond milk freezes very well. So, okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put some sort of topping on this. And the sky's the limit for whatever type of toppings you like. You could use some chopped bananas, you could do chopped grapes, you could do some berries, some blueberries. I'm actually going to use some strawberries. I got some diced strawberries here that, well, I didn't buy them diced, I diced them. And strawberries, a lot of places are still on sale because it's still strawberry season. So it's a great fruit to use. And I'm just going to kind of spread out the strawberries a little bit. And you can see they're kind of spread out a little bit. I actually could have chopped up some more strawberries. I guess kind of underestimated how many strawberries I would need. For about 2 cups of yogurt, you kind of want to look at about a half a cup of strawberries, maybe, and you can use more or less. And then I want to think, well, what would go well with strawberries? Pretty much everything goes with strawberries, right? You could put on some shredded coconut, you could put some pecans. I have some unsalted, dry toasted sliced almonds that I'm going to use. So I'm going to sprinkle some of those on. And I like to have some nuts on here as well. But if you have a nut allergy, then you could use, just some other types of berries. I could put some blueberries on here, and granola. Granola is a fun thing to put on here too. So that would be another option. Let's see. What fruit can you use that is seedless and skinless? Oh goodness. I mean, you could use some chopped pineapple, some chopped mango, banana would be nice. Even some diced citrus. Fruit is delicious frozen. I'm a huge fan of frozen fruit, and it makes such a just nice snack by itself. Even grapes, you typically don't skin a grape, even though they technically do have the skin on it, but grapes would be lovely as well. But whatever fruit that you're using, try not to have like huge chunks of it, because you are going to eat it frozen. So you don't want, like, if your grapes are big, I would cut them into quarters or halves so that they're a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to sprinkle our almonds on top. And then I looked through my fridge to see what else I had that would be good on this. And guess what I found? I found my pound plus of milk chocolate from Trader Joe's. I know it's one of my guilty pleasures. Every once in a while, it's nice just to have a little bit of chocolate. Certainly dark chocolate would be a little bit healthier, but every once in a while the milk chocolate is good too. So I'm actually going to take if you have semi-sweet chocolate chips, Those would work lovely. The mini chips could work, or you could just do a sprinkle of chocolate chips. I'm actually going to take my chocolate and just kind of cut it into smaller pieces, some little slivers, so that it's also going to just, so that we don't have any huge pieces of it lying out. So just take your, if you do, most of you probably don't have a pound of chocolate in your fridge. I know, I'm the dietitian with a pound of chocolate in my fridge. But if you do tend to get one of these at Trader Joe's, this is how you chop it up. And you can make them as big or as little. And we're not going to put a ton on, just regular amount, and then sprinkle that on top. And then the last thing that I'm going to do, you can see there what it looks like. I actually like to take my spoon or my spatula, clean spoon, and just kind of gently press it down a little bit, because you don't want all your toppings falling off when you take it out. So you want them kind of be somewhat touching the yogurt. I don't know if you can see this, but I pressed a little too hard and some of the yogurt's coming through. So try not to press too hard, just very lightly, so that you still, it looks prettier when you see all the toppings. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my freezer. And it takes about 3 hours to freeze completely, more or less, depending on how thick it is. So at least my freezer works. So I can show you what this looks like when you chop it up into smaller pieces. All right, so you're basically just going to break it into pieces, and then you want to definitely, obviously, serve it right away. So if you're not going to eat the whole thing, you could either freeze the pieces individually, and that might be easy if you have young kids and if they want to get themselves their own snack, they can come in and grab one of the pieces. Snack or dessert, depending on the type of yogurt that you use, right? If you're using a yogurt with a lot of sugar in it, I would probably consider it more of a dessert. So there we go. Just, some kind of break it up into little pieces. And it's just a really kind of little fun summertime treat. Maybe take the rest of our toppings, put them on. And there we go. Here is what our bark looks like. I'm going to go grab the clafoutis, and we're all going to pretend like it baked and it got puffed up and brown. Pretend that this is nice and puffy and brown and delicious smelling at this point. And I promise you, if your oven works, it will be delicious and beautiful. And we're looking for about 20 minutes or so at 425 degrees. So I see we have some another question here. Okay, I see someone says, adding that 1 pound chocolate bar to my shopping list. Yeah, it does come in dark chocolate as well. That would also be a good choice too. But a little bit of chocolate here and there added into an otherwise healthy diet can be a nice way to sustain healthy eating with adding in an occasional treat. And that's what it's nice to have an occasional dessert, right? Okay, so thank you for your questions and comments. How did everyone do with getting the recipe? Do you need me to show you the recipe? I do have a printout of it that I could potentially just show. Does anyone need to see the recipe? Or were you all able to download it? Hopefully, fingers crossed. And if not, does anyone else have any other questions, comments? I've got my computer right here in front of me, so I'm gonna look to see if there's any other thing in the Q&A. Okay. Um, so I'm seeing one person said, can you send them an email? I guess we could do that, right? That's certainly something we could do. And if, um, I don't know if anybody is able to also maybe even take a screenshot of this, if that would work too. That's the plum clafoutis one. So, let's see, or even just tell us what website it comes from. The plum clafoutis is, they're both kind of like my own recipe. There really is no website that it comes from. I mean, there's lots of places to go and get them on websites. The Clafoutis one, I think I got from, if you're familiar with Joanne Chang, I used a hybrid of her recipe and also another recipe as well. So, but if you just Google plum clafoutis or cherry clafoutis, you will get so many different, recipes, and they're all good. I just, happened to make a hybrid of this from a couple other recipes. So this one is, there's no website to go through to these, sorry. But Google, yogurt bark, Google clafoutis, and you will get plenty of recipes. So, okay, any other questions from anyone? Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry my oven didn't work. Okay. Well, thank you once again, and I guess we'll say goodbye, and I'll see everyone next time. So hope you all have a good rest of your week and have a great summer as well. We'll see you. Bye, everyone.